Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Veda and this is The Simple Budget. Here on my channel, I show you simple but effective ways to maintain a stress-free financial life. If that sounds like content that you're interested in, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button and join our little crew here. And with that being said, let's get into today's video. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to The Simple Budget. I know that it's been quite some time since I have uploaded here. If you are here just for the budget with me, I'm going to go ahead and leave a timestamp for you so that you know when you can skip ahead to the goods. But just before you do that, know that the budget with me is always a lengthier video. So if you want a little bit of a relaxing time, grab yourself a snack and maybe a little drink or something, and we'll get into the budget. But first, I just wanted to offer a little explanation for where I've been and why I decided to take a little bit of a break. First of all, I just want to say a thank you to everybody who reached out. There were some concerns that my family and I were in the flood zone that happened in Texas around July 4th, and we were not. That kind of happened, I think, in the Austin area of Texas, and we are in the DFW area of Texas, which is about 3 hours north of where the flooding took place. But I do so appreciate that you guys were reaching out and thinking of us. And obviously that was a devastating, just heartbreaking thing to have happened. But I'm so grateful to you guys for your concern for us. But that's not where I was. Everything was fine as far as that was concerned. And just to be perfectly frank with you, I was just feeling really burnout. I have maintained this channel for a little over 2 years. And I know there are so many people who are on YouTube who have channels for years and years and years. But it just was like something that I was feeling a little burnout on. Not even just overwhelmed, but I just was feeling more inclined toward enjoying more time than usual with my kids this summer. And that meant a sacrifice of time here on the channel. And that's really it, honestly and truly. We didn't fall back into debt. We have maintained our budget even in this off time. And that is something that you will know if you've been here for a while. But if you're new, the principles that I showcase here on my channel are things that are very, very simple, but super effective tools for making sure that you can just kind of maintain a fluid budget that doesn't cause you a lot of stress. And I view my personal goal here is to be somebody who encourages the beginners, especially because I know how overwhelming and daunting the task can seem in the beginning when you're starting a brand new budget, especially if you have a lot of debt hanging over you. I do have our debt playlist here on the channel. We started, when I started this channel, we had just under $60,000 of consumer debt. So that wasn't student debt or anything. That was just like credit cards and junk. So I know what it means to be in debt. I know the work that it takes to get out of it. But one of the things that I really hope to impart to my audience always is that this methodology is really simple, and maintaining it requires discipline, but it's not a lot of work it's not going to consume a lot of your time throughout the week. And I think that that's something else that people are kind of concerned about. Like, how much time am I going to have to devote to something like this? I already feel overwhelmed, overworked, stressed, underpaid, et cetera, et cetera. And so I just want to encourage you with that. If you are new here and you want to kind of learn from our way of doing things, that it will get easier. It will become even less time consuming. And it's something that will help when you maintain the discipline of doing it. It's going to help you get out of any financial trouble that you may be in. And then also set yourself up for future good principles so that you can just kind of maintain your budget. And it's not even really a thing that takes a lot of time or energy from you. And so that's my goal, is to kind of showcase that here. And but yeah, I honestly and truly, everything's fine, nothing's wrong. I just really needed a little bit of a break. I'm also, and this is really just going to be for people who've been here for a while, I'm feeling incredibly frustrated trying to find a production partner for my budget planner. I don't want to like overwhelm you with too much information, but I have a real ethical problem with finding a partner that isn't based in China, and I'm just not satisfied that they have good standards as far as how they treat their workers and that they're not using children, because I would stake my life on the fact that they're probably using children in factories and stuff to produce what they produce. And so I'm finding it very challenging to find a non-Chinese based production partner that I can create my budget planner with. And so that has been frustrating and time consuming as well. And so it was just sort of like a stack of feeling overwhelmed and just sort of burnout. And so that's really the crux of why I needed a break. But I am back. I am here. And there's gonna be like a little bit of like catch up work that I have to do on the channel here just to kind of catch you guys up to where we are. Like I said, we didn't go into debt. We maintained our budget. We've made forward progress on our emergency fund. If you're new, we are working towards saving 6 months of expenses as our emergency fund. So we've been making progress on that as well, despite the fact that I have not really uploaded on my channel since I think June. So anyways, I am going to have like a catch up stuffing that I do, because I didn't stuff while I was on my break. We kept everything digital. So I'm going to do a catch up stuffing this week, and then I'm just going to go back to business as usual with my weekly check-in on Friday. So anyways, that is going to do it for this little mini Where I've Been session. I'm going to go ahead and jump into my budget planner here. I know it's going to sound really wonky when I said I'm frustrated that I haven't found a production partner and I'm pulling out a budget planner. This binder comes from a brand called Jumping Fox Designs. They're based out of California, but the actual budget planner itself is mine. The dashboard, I make the dashboards. My Etsy shop is linked below. I don't have the updated version of my budget planner in there yet, as far as what you can download and print yourself, but it is still completely functional. It's just not the aesthetic that I am trying to like move it toward, but it is still there and it works perfectly fine. But we are in quarter 3 of the year. Starting in July, but still, I'm very excited. So anyways, the August quote of the month is beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship. This is definitely one of those things that we learned very, very quickly pretty early on, was how, what's the word I'm looking for? The proclivity that we had toward just kind of like swiping our card whenever we were like, oh, we need this, we need that, we need this, rather than sort of tracking everything. It's really easy to be like, oh, we're tracking our expenses, so it'll be fine, just buy it. But really, you don't want to do that either. I mean, you really want to spend as little as you possibly can so that you can make sure that you're staying on track from week to week. We do track our budget from week to week also to make sure that we're staying on track. But those little expenses, that little Starbucks coffee, that little, pastry or whatever, that stuff adds up. So just to kind of give you a quick little overview, this is a magic month for us. So if you're new, that means that we get one extra pay this month than we usually would. So my husband is the sole income provider in our home. My Etsy shop and my YouTube channel do provide some income, but it is nowhere near enough to sustain our family. It's just more like side hustle cash. But he will be getting he's paid bi-weekly, so he's going to be getting 3 pays this month instead of 2, which is wonderful because it also means a little bit of buffering in our budget, which is usually needed by the time the end of the summer rolls around. So I'm going to just go ahead and grab my August budget overview because we don't budget by paycheck. We just do one great budget overview for the entirety of the month. And then I come up with a funding plan, and that is what provides the content here on my channel. But I'm just going to pull this out and go over this with you guys in order to lay out this budget. So I'm going to just zoom you guys in here, and then we will do the August budget. All right, so here we go. I'm just gonna go ahead and write Mr. Simple. That is what he is called around here, in case you did not know. My husband, I'm sorry. That's what we call my husband around here. And the income that he will be bringing in for the month of August will be $13,499.16. Like I mentioned, he's paid bi-weekly. So this is 3 paychecks, not 2, which is our typical month. Typically, we are looking at 2 paychecks a month. So the very first thing that we do, and I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but we do what's called the zero-based budgeting method. And what that means is that we come up with a plan for every single dollar that comes into our household. Some things we will use that month. Some of the dollars we will use that month. We will spend them that month in our mortgage and our utilities, groceries, things like that. And then other things we put into sinking funds, which are categories of your budget that you are not necessarily going to spend from that month, but you will at some point throughout the year. And so building up those sinking funds helps to make it so that you don't have any surprise. I mean, obviously you're going to have surprise unplanned expenses that come up throughout the year, but planning for the things that you know that are actually going to happen, things like oil changes for your car and Christmas and birthday parties and things like that. So I'm going to show you my categories and how we budget for those things. But the thing that I always say, especially in the budget with me, is that it's super important to watch a variety of different content creators when you're just starting out, because somebody who has a different lifestyle to you is going to have different budgeting categories. So if you have a family, the likelihood that you are going to be able to, my husband just came home from work, so that's why we were interrupted. If you happen to be new here, interruptions happen from time to time. There's nothing I can do about that. Anyways, are you serious? He does that. What I was saying is that if you have a family, watching the content of somebody who is single is not really going to resonate with you, and you're not really going to learn a lot from them in terms of, now you could learn a lot from somebody who is single. I'm not saying that you can't. What I am saying is that your categories might be different. So they may not necessarily have categories in their budget that would help kind of jog your memory of things that you need to think about that you spend on. Likewise, if you're single, I'm going to have categories in my budget that are not going to make sense to you. They're completely irrelevant to your life. And so I'm not necessarily a person that you would look to in terms of, oh, what categories am I forgetting that I spend from? And so that's the only reason why I'm saying, now listen, personality-wise, you may connect with somebody who has a completely different lifestyle to you. And I do that all the time. Any kind of content that I consume is just something that I enjoy watching, and I don't necessarily have the same lifestyle that person has. So definitely have your favorites and, watch the content creators that make you happy. But as far as learning is concerned, you really just kind of want to watch a variety of different content creators so that you can make sure that you are nailing down all the categories that you actually utilize throughout the year in your budget that you spend from, so that you don't have those surprise expenses that sneak up on you that you would have caught if maybe you had seen somebody doing this budgeting thing that has a similar lifestyle to you, if that makes sense. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, first up, we're going to start with bills and expenses. And I'm just going to jump right in. So we've got mortgage. Sometimes spelling and saying things at the same time is a real challenge. Our mortgage is $2,237.09. And we budget these things to the exact cent because if there's any change left over, we just kind of sweep that over into our emergency fund. And I don't like to round up for certain things like mortgage because it always stays the same. Water bill, however, changes a lot. And something that I always recommend is looking at your last 3 to 6 months of utilities so that you can kind of figure out what your average is and put that toward your utilities every single month, so that if you do go over 1 month, it's not that big of a deal because you've been planning and preparing for that. And that's what we do here. And so we just put $120 toward our water bill. Next up, we have both life and car insurances. Seriously? Tone it down. Life insurance is a spot on number. It's $144.20. And then with car insurance, it just fluctuates just a little bit. So we just round up and put $115 toward it every single month. We may roll a little bit over from time to time, but mostly it stays in that neighborhood. Next up, my husband trains jujitsu, and in the interest of saving myself time and energy, I just put jits there, and his costs $116.10. Now, this is actually technically his spending money. He and I both get a category of spending money every single month. I put it over in the bills and expenses though, because that's sort of how it comes out. It's just an automatic deduction every single month rather than stuffing this cash in his envelope. We just keep it in our bank account, and then it's just auto debited every single month. The rest of his spending money though does get stuffed in his envelope. Next up is our internet bill. And that's been kind of fluctuating here and there, but mostly it's the same. It's going to be $66. Then we've got our phones. These are just cell phones, and it's $125. Next up, we have our electric bill, and similarly to how we do the water bill, we just do our average, like our monthly average based on the annual amount that we've spent, and it's $200 a month. And we find that this is usually a pretty good number. Surprisingly, we've had a very cool summer this year in Texas. I mean, cool is relative, but for us, we've only had probably a handful of days that have gotten over 100 degrees. And it's been quite nice, actually. I mean, I don't mind the 100 and something degree days, but I do find that the 90 something degree days are a little bit more tolerable than the 100 and something degree days. But it's also meant a nicer experience for our HVAC system. So we've managed to stay, this $200 has managed to be enough as far as like averaging it out every single month. I apologize, that's my dryer. Next up, we have groceries, and before you get bug-eyed on me, one of the things that we factor into our magic month is the fact that we have to cover our grocery expense for the 2 weeks following the month of August with our August pay. So we will not use all of this grocery money in August. It's going to sustain us into the first 2 weeks of September, but our grocery bill is high anyway. But whenever I have my magic month budget with me, it's always a topic of conversation. People are always like, I can't believe how much you spend on groceries. It's just a thing here. I just kind of laugh at it at this point. It's quantity and quality. We do spend good money on good food, and also just by virtue of the fact that my husband and I are tall, our kids are tall, they're both going through growth spurts right now, and so they're eating all the food. And so our groceries are just kind of a combination of those things, and that's why it's expensive. So for the month of August, we are budgeting $3,100 toward our groceries. Gas is up next. This is just gasoline for our car. I'm putting $115 toward it. And then for household, now these are household supplies like trash bags, sponges, that kind of stuff. And toiletries, I'm buffering these up just a little bit with some of our extra Magic Month money because these are categories of our budget that really take a hit from time to time. And they really did, I feel like, in the month of July. So for household and toiletries, I'm budgeting $110 each. Hopefully that will sustain us for a little while too, but we'll see. Next up, we have our subscriptions, and this is just a variety of different things. Like our Amazon Prime account, our Apple Music, that kind of thing. And it's going to be $60 for that, for the variety of different services we use. Taxes is up next, and this money is money that we are saving up every single month so that we can pay the guy who prepares our taxes for us every year, and that it gets $40 a month. Next up, we have our HOA fee. This is an annual thing as well, and we put $17 a month toward it. It's usually due around January 1st, I want to say. Finance coach is up next, and in addition to comments about my grocery bill, I always get questions about what this is. It is a job-specific thing relating to my husband's job and specifically his retirement fund. It's basically a subscription service that we pay for annually where this guy watches the financial markets and he makes recommendations for where my husband should put his retirement fund from month to month, because his is something that he can like move around to take advantage of the market. And it more than pays for itself. It's $65 or $60 annually. So we put $5 a month toward it. So if I could recommend it to you, I would. But like I said, it's job specific for my husband, so it would not benefit you. And then last up for our bills and expenses is union dues. And this is, again, something related to my husband's job. And it's an annual fee also. And we put $15 a month toward it. So now that we've reached the end of this particular section, our total for bills and expenses for the month of August is going to be $6,745.45. What we do next, we don't have debt. And I actually updated this sheet, but I didn't print out my updated one. So they're all in flux right now because I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with it. But next up, we move over to our sinking funds. And like I mentioned earlier, these are the categories of our budget that we may not necessarily spend from in the month of August, but we are going to spend from it throughout the year. And we just funnel money toward these categories because we want to make sure that when we do have a need from this category, we've got the money there to spend. And so first up for us is car expenses. And car expenses gets $57 a month. I know that's a weird number. Seven of those dollars is actually for our car registration, which is an annual thing. And then the other 50 we put aside for car related needs. So our oil change, the occasional car wash, saving up for a car related emergency, those sorts of things. I think I said oil change. And so that we have found that number works really well for us. And we've not really had any car related emergencies, or significant ones. So we've been able to kind of just let this build up over the 2 years that I've had this channel, honestly. Next up, we've got home maintenance. And it's actually like a couple things. It's money that we set aside for like a home maintenance related emergency. So if like and this actually happened to us at some point over the summer, we needed to replace our dishwasher entirely. So if our dishwasher breaks and something else related to that, like home related things, washer, dryer, that kind of thing. But it's also things that we need for home maintenance related things. So if we have to kill a wasp nest, that spray comes from that and those sorts of things. So it's sort of like a real hodgepodge of categories. And really, you're the only person who can kind of determine what category a certain expense falls under. But it's really like it's like a Heinz 57 of categories that fall under home maintenance. It's getting $75 this month. And then this is something else that I do with my Etsy and YouTube money. If I feel like I want a little bit of money extra funneled toward it, over in this section of my budget page, my budget sheet, I put what I want to add to it from my Etsy and YouTube pay. And so this month I'd like to add $25 to it. I know these little amounts may not seem like much, but this kind of stuff added up over the course of time really does make a big difference. Okay, next up, we've got medical. And bless it, we have had minimal medical things. So I'm going to be the one who's going to take from this fund in the next couple of months. We're trying to sort out some things with me. If you guys are new to my channel, I have a variety of different autoimmune conditions. And they seem to be flaring up a bit, and I can't figure out why. And so I'm going to start looking into this here soon. So we are going to be pulling a little bit from our medical fund for that, but I think it's definitely a cause worth looking into. So we're going to be budgeting $100 for it this month. And then I'm also going to be supplementing at $25 with Etsy and YouTube. Next up is clothes, and our clothes category is one that just, takes a hit from time to time, but because of Magic Month, I'm going to be budgeting $200 for it because it just really needs it as we go into the school year. Both of my kids need new shoes. My daughter almost literally wears the same size shoes as me. So we're just, we're growing fools around here. Fortunately, I think we're going to be able to maintain clothing for a little bit, but I always say that. And then we always end up needing to buy them new clothes. So I'm going to just keep my mouth shut. Haircuts is up next. And this is something that, it's haircuts. It's pretty plain there. This category, though, covers the haircuts for my husband, son, and daughter. I pull from my own pay I pull from my own spending money for my haircut. And that's just something we've decided to do initially while we're working toward our emergency fund. And then eventually, after we save up our emergency fund, we're going to kind of change up the way that we do our budget in terms of how much money each category gets. Right now, we're operating on what I would call like the lower end bracket of what we would like to be funding some of these categories. But once we've got our total emergency fund funded, then we're going to change up a little bit of how we do some of our budgeting. So for the time being, though, this is just how we do it. And haircuts gets $80 a month. Next up is his and hers. And this is me and my husband's spending money. He gets $50 and I get $195. And just in case you think that that's not equitable, please also remember that his jujitsu comes from his pay as well. And our main budget supplements my haircut just a little bit, but I still fund it from my spending money, which is why I keep all of that together. I split these up into a couple of different envelopes. But here on the budget, I just lump it all together. And then as I go through and stuff every week, I split up I have my own categories listed, so to speak, for how I split this money up. So you'll see that if you stay tuned from week to week. Next up, we have dates, and it's exactly like it sounds for my husband and I to go on a date, and I'm giving it $30 this month. Next up, we've got family fun. And we're coming to the end of bulking money toward this, but I wanted to give it one last little end of summer boost. And so I'm putting $50 toward it. And then I'm going to supplement it with Etsy and YouTube another $30. Most of our family fun activities, in full disclosure, take place during the summer. And we put forth a lot of effort to fund this category really well before summer started, and it worked out fabulously for us. So we'll definitely do that again next year, where we, it's anywhere from $30 to $50 a month anyway, but we put a lot of effort into it, like in the months of April, May, and June. And we really liked planning that out that way. It worked out really well for us. Next up, I'm writing out Dine Out. I'm not budgeting for it this month from our main budget, but I am going to supplement it $40 from Etsy and YouTube this month. And so I just wanted to make a note of that, because anytime I have a goal with my Etsy and YouTube money, I always make a note of that so that I don't forget what I wanted to do at the beginning of the month. And then next up, we've got gifts. And this is just for any gifts. My son's birthday is in the month of August, so we wanted to make sure to give this one a little bit of extra money as well. And so we're going to be budgeting $75. And then I'm also going to be supplementing this $25 with my Etsy and YouTube pay. Partay is up next, which is a Friends reference, if you didn't know why I was pronouncing it that way. And we put a little bit extra toward this as well because of, my son's birthday being this month. And so it's getting $60. School things is up next. And also because of the school year, I'm giving it $60. We do have a decent amount in there to get us through all of the beginning of the school year, purchasing of the supplies stuff, but as a just in case, I'm adding to it. And by the way, if you are in the state of Texas, We have ridiculously high sales tax, but this upcoming weekend, I think today is like the 4th. So it's going to be this weekend. I think Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, is tax-free weekend on the sale of things that are relevant to kids' school supplies and like clothing and shoes and things like that. So if you have more school things to get, more clothing things to get, and you're in the state of Texas for your kids for school, wait until this weekend to finish getting it. I always take advantage of it because I love to not pay taxes. It's my favorite activity. So I'm really looking forward to this. I did get some of the things that get picked over really easily and very quickly, but I'm leaving the rest of it for this weekend because anytime I cannot pay taxes is a good time. Next up is all of our little holidays. So we've got Valentine's Day, Easter, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and then this one that I'm calling, I'll just put dessert here. So this is a relatively new category of my budget. I have not even funded it. This is the first time I'm funding it this year, but it's for an event that we host between Thanksgiving and Christmas. My envelope is called Eat Dessert First. And it's just a little open house dessert thing that we host for our friends and neighbors to kind of come and go as they please at some point throughout that day. And I do like a big charcuterie board. I make all of the desserts. And obviously that money has to come from somewhere and I have to budget for it. And so I decided to do it a little bit with Magic Month. I'm going to have to fund it more before that time comes, but this is a start. So I was happy to be able to do this with our Etsy and with our, come on, I have words, with our Magic Month. Goodness gracious. Okay. So we've got $5 a month for Valentine's Day, $7 for Easter, $12 for Halloween, $30 for Thanksgiving, and I'm going to be able to give Eat Dessert First $60 this month, and I'm going to go ahead and supplement it another $40 with Etsy and YouTube, just so I can get us a good start at $100. So I'm hoping that that will motivate me to keep doing it until the holiday arrives. Next up, we've got Christmas, which is not a little holiday, not in this house. And Christmas gets $275 a month. And then our pool membership, which we have been making wonderful use of. And oh my gosh, you guys, I've been reading so many books this summer. It's been so fabulous. I might do like a little reel or short or whatever and kind of go through some of my favorite reads from the summer and just kind of go over them with you guys because it has been such a fun summer of reading for me. I'm currently working on the book, The Covenant of Water. I just started it the other day, and it's very gripping. From the very beginning, the story just sort of lures you in. So I've been enjoying my pool time because my pool time has been reading time. So anyways, our pool membership costs us $32 a month, and it's an annual fee that we pay for a summer membership to our local pool. It's $375, which is a lot for a very short time period, but it's definitely worth it. So everybody enjoys it and we all get good sunshine and outside time. So anyways, last up in this section is vacation, and vacation is another one that's really benefiting from our Magic Month this month. I am applying $1,250 toward it. We have started funding our vacations on a monthly basis now so that we can at least have a baseline dollar amount available to us that we can, pull from if we would like to at different times of the year. And it has been such a wonderful tool for us to fund our vacations and not have to sort of worry where that vacation money is going to come from. In the past, we've used like an escrow refund. We used our tax refund. We've used bonus money, things like that. But now that we're like actually budgeting for it every single month and the money is there, it's so nice. That was definitely one of the things that we were able to do this year that we've been so pleased with. But we still want to give it like a nice, good head start into next year as well. So we wanted to go ahead because we've already taken all the vacations we're going to take for this year, sort of. we have like little things planned, but nothing too significant. So this is going to go toward next year's vacation. So it's nice to be able to start off on a good foot for that as well. And then the total for this section up here is $2,703. And then I'm going to be supplementing $185 in these variety of different categories that I said I was going to supplement with Etsy and YouTube Pay. Last up for the day, we have down in our savings section, we have our emergency fund. And then we have investment accounts for my son and daughter. So I just put boy and girl here. And we give them $25 a month each. And I say this every single time. You can go back and watch all of my budget with me, as I always say this. It adds up and it makes such a difference. And I'm just so excited for them. When they get jobs, they're going to contribute to it as well. They can use it for their retirement. Like, I don't care what they use it for, but it's just such a positive. And I'm so glad that we started it when we did. I wish we had started it sooner. But this was something that I felt very strongly about wanting to start doing. And I'm just so glad that we pushed forward with it. So anyways, after all of that, so after the bills and expenses section, the sinking fund section, and this $50 for, my goodness, I lost all my English there, for my son and daughter's investment accounts, we are going to be able to put $4,000, and remember I said every cent and 71 cents into our emergency fund this month. Our aim is usually $2,000, so we're doubling it, which is great. And I am, at some point, I'm going to update you guys on the current status of since we're already into quarter 3, you're going to have like emergency fund updates kind of close to each other as far as the quarter 2 update. And then, it's the quarter 2 update, right? And then the quarter 3 update will be close together, but I don't want to not update you guys. So anyways, in addition to this, I also want to supplement it with Etsy and YouTube, an additional $150. And so that's it. So everything on this page, all of these categories, every dollar here that is accounted for. I didn't write my total. $50.71, and then the additional $150. So everything here takes up all almost $13,500 that we have over here for our budget for the month of August. I know this looks kind of crazy, like it's a lot, and I'm called the simple budget, but this really is so simple. This is the same method that we do every single month. The numbers change from time to time based off of our needs in that particular time period, but overall, it's just this system. And so it's so easy to maintain. Tracking it is really easy to maintain. I'll be showing you that as well if you happen to be new here. So if you check back in on Friday, I'm going to show you how we hold ourselves accountable with our expense tracking every single week, and how maintaining that is really what helps you stay on top of the budget. Because creating the budget is one thing, maintaining it and making sure that you're staying within the boundaries that you've set for yourself is really the crux of it. So I'm going to be doing that on Friday. I also have plans to be back on Wednesday for my July catch-up stuffing. So there are some categories that we have to stuff from the month of July. And so I'm going to be doing that just as like a little bonus video this week as well. So I'm going to zoom you guys back out and we'll get into finishing out this video. All right, you guys. Well, I hope that you enjoyed catching back up with me. I certainly am glad to be back here with you guys. I'm looking forward to the months ahead. I'm really excited that, we're jumping back in with the August budget with me. It's always like a fun video to do anyway. It's exciting to see how the discipline really plays out and works for you from month to month. I keep tripping all over my words here. Anyways, that's going to do it for me. I'm going to be done for the day. I'm rusty getting back into the filming of things because I've been away for, like a month and a half. But yeah, that's going to do it for me for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, I would love it so much if you would give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. Just say hi. Let me know what you guys have been up to, what your summer's been like. If you've been reading any really good books, I would love to know about that too. Even though my stack of unread books is a little bit ridiculous and I don't need to add to it, that's for sure. So anyways, that's it. I'm done. Enjoy the rest of your day. I will be back here with you guys again on Wednesday with a quick little catch-up cash stuffing. And so I will see you guys then. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.